Good morning, my gardeners. Another tour of my garden. Everything is lush and beautiful. The garden is moving into its almost mature stage. And the biggest anticipation right now is the bloom of roses. So let's walk around and enjoy the season, because after all the rain, my garden looks particularly lush. Olga, Carmody with you, Master Gardener from Connecticut. Everything is nice and lush, and there is a new addition to the front of the garden. I made this loop around my honeyberry. You know why I did it? Because look at these two honeyberries, and they're supposed to be Mr. and Mrs. Honeyberry. Well, it's actually a nice little selling gimmick. You need two different varieties for better pollination. So I bought Mr. and Mrs. Honeyberry. Mrs. Honeyberry is big and fat, and Mr. Honeyberry is beloved by rabbits. Can you believe it? So this is 3 years of growth, and every year rabbits just take this poor thing down to the ground. So I made this nice loop of twig, I would say, how would you call it? Twig protection. And hopefully rabbits are not going to target this honeyberry. Every year I'm waiting for some sort of fruits appearing here. They are not, and honeyberry already... Oh, there is one! Look at this! Mr. Carmody is filming today. Our first honeyberry is right here. It is supposed to be deep blue when it ripens. Well, let's see if it will still be here after maybe 2 weeks, because honeyberries do produce berries in spring. Well, cross-pollination I don't think happens this year, because this honeyberry didn't have any blooms whatsoever. It is just barely surviving here, but enough of it. So this is a new construction this year. I just did it several days ago. There is a new project which I would love to make here, and it is for this area. You see, we have our beautiful hydrangeas here, and this year I didn't trim them. I didn't take any canopy down, so I'm hoping that because that structure is there, hydrangea would be able to support itself, because we don't have morning sun here. And hydrangea, first year I planted here, it just flopped. So this year, when you look in, all the old stems, I just broke one. Oh, okay. All the old twigs are here, and they are supporting my hydrangea. So for the last 2 years, I didn't do anything about it. I just deadhead the blooms, and that's it. So this hydrangea, imagine it's blooming. It's a powerhouse here. But the problem is, it is getting too much out into the grass. You see this area here? Originally, I put bricks here all the way to separate the grass area from my plants. And it's not really working very well, because we have ground cover here. It is spilling on the grass. This is a disaster here. It's always weedy here. The grass doesn't want to go here very well. It's shaded there, so forget about that. I'm going to install the same wattle fencing, the twig fence, the same height right here, but go slightly around my hydrangea, and then somewhere where bricks were, I'm going to take bricks out, and just go around here and hide somewhere in the canopy of my yews. I think it will be very lovely. It will kind of work together with this wattle work, with this one, and I'm planning to do some sort of wood planters here for tomatoes growing here in these raised beds, and it will have like a unison playing around the same theme, the same construction material, which is twigs. I think it will look very good. I need twigs though, you know, that's a problem. There's shortage of twigs in Carmody's household. Let's look at our yews at the front of the garden. Several years ago, I decided that I want to have a little blob here, and it is slowly working. It's slowly turning into a circle. It needs trimming, so maybe after several years we will get something here. This year, roses are so good looking in the garden. I'm going to show you the back. Here roses are struggling because they don't get morning sun, so the situation is the same. Eden rose. I love Eden rose. And look at this, after several years of growth, it has a very small presence here because of no morning sun. And I think this year I'm going to propagate it. And where am I going to introduce it? At the back? I don't know, but I want to do it and I will do it. Okay, let's go and look at the side of our garden where the first rose, Demona rose, is blooming already actually. And it looks very pretty. Look at this. Gorgeous blooms. It's a little bit wild here. Oh, this Demona has very pretty scent. And you know what? It is competing here with the scent of lilacs. My neighbors have lilacs here and they have such a strong, powerful morning and evening scent. Wonderful. I almost can smell it from my garden sometimes. I bring it in the house, a bloom or two, and the whole room is being filled with the scent. Look at these irises. They love it here. I introduced them last year, and a little bit more of a sun makes a whole of a difference for these blooms, right? Beautiful. Look at these buds are getting nice and heavy on Roald Dahl rose. Again, another problematic space for this rose. I'm not knowing what's happening with this branch here. It's looking a little yellow. I don't know why. Maybe it wants to die off. Yes, it has a damage there. All right, we will see. But when Roald Dahl rose is blooming, oh, the blooms are gorgeous. They are apricot orange, and unfortunately all of them are facing the sun here, so forget about passers-by who wants to see the flowers, right? That's another thing to consider when you do design with roses. Make sure that you're going to look at roses where the sun is kissing them, because they're going to turn away from you when the sun is not where you're looking. So this is Roald Dahl here, peonies. I made a loop for them. You see here, it's not going to be a very strong support, but I like the presence of this hardscape in the garden. It makes the garden interesting among all the growth happening here, although you can't really see it here very well with all the Nepeta growing here. All right. Generous gardener, another one here growing strong, almost ready to bloom as well. Let's go to the back of the garden. And this year my leaping larch didn't live through the winter very well. I see a lot of dead stems here. Some of them died off. What is this here? Oh, it's some sort of very interesting bug there, but I don't think it's a bad one. Look at this very charming little design, I consider it. We used to have this space here. It was just a soil. I don't know, the previous owners did this pathway into the back of our garden, but they left this area here with the soil and it was always dirty. So several years ago I installed stones here. I just dipped them into the cement, and several weeks ago I just acidified it to make it darker because the cement was a little bit too light. And now it looks good. It just recedes into the ground cover of winker and ivy. And nothing is happening with it for several years, so it was a successful design here. We are moving to the back of our garden, and the entrance here, the points of interest are my verbena growing in the hanging container here, and the other day I made this basket here with another verbena, so we have two verbenas on both sides, and hopefully at some point we are going to have a gate here. Oh, I just have to find the time to make that gate. And we are moving into the back of our garden. This is our shady area, populated by gorgeous hostas, which love all the rain we received. Look at this, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And under our apple tree, 3 hostas are growing and lush and beautiful. All the lovely new foliage is popping up. Love it. All right, at the back, excuse our appearance, there was a planting going on here, but we have our first new rose growing, and it is Olivia Austin rose. It is opening its blooms, and it is right here. Our first rose of the season. Look at this rose, how many blooms there are. It is a power rose, the most healthy rose in my garden. I see some sawfly damage here. Usually sawflies do not like Olivia Austin, but I missed it. And the sawfly larva is gone from here already. All right, but it's not bad, you know. Again, Olivia Austin is super disease resistant. I do nothing to it. The only thing I did, I made a mistake when Olivia was 2 years old. It was so congested in the middle that I thought to myself, okay, let me trim it from inside a little bit. And you see how Olivia is behaving now? Some of the stems are kind of weak and they are falling, and other stems are super strong. I shouldn't have done it, but whatever is done is done. In several years, Olivia will correct its growth. But look how nice and strong it looks. And by the way, there is a very cozy seating area there where my husband loves to sit there and read his books. But now we have birds in that house. You hear them? They're quarreling with me because I'm standing here, and they're saying, okay, human, get out of our area. Look at the patio. You see this blob of growth? That's why I love Coropterus. It responds so well to nice trimming in spring. And a lot of people I see, they don't do it. They don't trim Coropterus. And the growth is very leggy then. The plant develops very leggy growth, growing in whatever direction. Doesn't look really good, but this, and when you look inside, each stem, you see, I wounded this stem, and each stem got several side buds activated, and all of them are growing. And my Coropterus, I believe it's a subshrub, or maybe a shrub, I'm not sure. Look how nice and full it is here. And by the way, it creates a lot of little volunteer seedlings all over. They're growing here. Rose buds are so nice and fat this year. I did a different treatment for my Lady of Shellot, as I told you. And it looks so good this year. Look at all the buds. When I'm going to do my next garden tour, maybe all these buds will be opening up and blooming. Love it, love it. Oh, sawfly damage. I think I took care after it. Oh no, I found one. Nasty pieces of work. All right, she's gone. Let me see here. Yep, another guy. I better get in here before all the unsightly damage starts to happen here. All right, let's look at our back porch. What do we have here? My new rose is also ready to open its blooms. I have to constantly rotate it to have a nice, well-proportioned canopy of the plant. Oh, look at this. I was showing you this moss rose the other day. It loves sun. And it is basking here on our porch. Unfortunately, it doesn't look very good. Let me see if I find a good video of this rose blooming in the sun, because it opens up all its blooms and it looks gorgeous. I particularly like the white one here because it has, look here, it has very pretty interior. Looks like a poppy at this point. So yeah, we have cloudy conditions right now, and moss rose looks slightly miserable, but it's okay. We will have sun again, and it's very cold today. Sweet potato wine, I didn't plant all of them yet. Sweet potato wine is really struggling with cold. It's starting to grow somewhat, not much though. All right, sedums are doing their lollipop shape growth as usual. What's happening here at the back? Well, it's a little messy here. I'm in the middle of making another wattle construction there, but I wanted to show you the generous gardener. As the generous gardener is growing here at the back of azalea, and this is white azalea. And every year what I do, I just trim it out, so all the white blooms are gone and they turn into brown ones. So what I did this year, I gave it a nice trim, I fertilized it, I'm going to spray it because it's fighting the insects. And these blooms, I'm so happy that these blooms are not interfering with the blooms of generous gardener, because dirty white is not really a good thing. And generous gardener has, look, they're almost ready to open, all the blooms. Very beautiful. My salvia came back to life. Can you believe it? I had two different salvias. This is perennial salvia, and I raised them from seeds. So I planted 3 of them here and 3 in the garden in the front. The garden front salvia did not survive the winter. It is hardy, I think borderline zone 7, and we had tough winters. My hydrangeas are not going to bloom this year well, and that salvia didn't survive. But this one, I moved it into the garage, and it is going to be blooming. It woke up really late. I almost threw that pot out, the soil. I almost took the soil out because I thought the salvia didn't survive, but it woke up. I was showing you in the previous video how I made this basket. Nice growth here, right? Nice presence here. Little petunias, also not doing very well there, maybe because of cold weather. But you know, eventually it will start growing here. Let me see. Okay. And Katrina Rose, look at this growth. If Katrina Rose is going to be as powerful as this, I'm in trouble. Well, we will see. The blooms here will be lovely. Katrina Rose is not bothered by any insects. It's a tough rose, a tough survivor. All the blooms are here. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. All right, let me show you my new construction, my new rose, Gabriel Oak. And I'm in the middle of it right now. But Gabriel Oak is showing the sign of life. Look, the leaves, or a lot of buds, are being activated here. And Gabriel Oak woke up, and hopefully we will have some sort of a growth here. The other day, the gardener came to our neighbors to trim this hedge, and he almost stepped into my Gabriel Oak rose, and I said, oh, I'm going to do some sort of protection here. So my son came back from college and he looked at it, because this is a place where they played soccer, and he said, Mom, what did you do it? This is our soccer place. Well, they have a big beautiful lawn right here. Look at all this wonderful garden, and a lot of it is dedicated to the lawn. And they can play soccer on this lawn, right? Plenty of space to share. Mom with her garden and boys with their soccer. Strawberries are finishing their season. We were fighting with birds over strawberries. What can you do? But this area, look at this little pathway. I love this pathway. When you look at it close by, close up, it looks like a little village populated with all sorts of plants. And because we took our mulberry tree down, this area receives so much sun, and it is shared by 2 times, creeping time and the kitchen time. Oh, smells good. I planted poppy seeds, not poppy seeds, I planted California poppies there. So maybe they will have a splash of orange color here. But creeping time is particularly happy here. It usually doesn't bloom here, but maybe this year it will. Although I think the time for the blooms is past already. I'm not sure when. Creeping time blooms in spring, late spring. So maybe we will see the blooms. we will see. Okay, these 2 pots are planted with California poppies. Rabbits last year decimated my California poppies without me here. So this year I'm trying to raise them in pots. Not that rabbits are not going to get them, you know, but we will see. Maybe I will put them on some sort of a support for them to raise up here. Last year was very tough year. We had drought here in Connecticut, and I can see it, the beauty bush. Oh, I love this beauty bush. And last year the garlands were going down and I was able to touch them and smell them. Well, this year, because of the drought last year, this year beauty bush kind of became smaller. And this is the only place where I can reach it. But every year I look forward to the blooms. Unfortunately, this year they are not as strong, but still very pretty, right? Azalea is receding into the background, which is fine. The color is not really offensive as the white one. I just leave it, and Azalea is doing its quiet time here, being evergreen. In winter it's semi-evergreen, and it supports this corner very well here in the garden. All right, our roses here. Well, let's go and look at New Dawn Rose. New Dawn roses, they are nice climbers and they're famous for producing kind of leggy growth, and that growth gets heavy with blooms and then they just spill and fall. So I have a feeling the same will happen here. You see all that growth? Once the bloom starts building up there, they're going to fall. And because this year my generous gardener finally made it to the top, all the blooms are going to cascade here. I think it's going to be a very lovely effect, especially when New Dawn will have a little bit more of a body to it, will become more mature. This would be beautiful. With the full sun here, lovely. Although that branch, the maple of our neighbors, is getting a little bit too strong here and it's extending, so I don't want it to grow even bigger here, shading this corner again. Oh well, what's new? We fight the garden tries to eat the gardener, right? Shade and sun, we want shade, and then trees get too big. All right, my dear gardeners, have a lovely day. My garden is lovely, there is a lot of work to do, but it is all good stuff. Happy gardening, please do subscribe, and I will see you in our next video.